We got an absolutely cuckoo crazy patch because we're going to be seeing some big buffs and some big nerfs. Starting off with the buffs, we have Bard Tristana, who somehow has the Aatrox icon, Xin Zhao, Jin, Darius, Gwen, Ambessa, Lissandra, Draven, Ornn, Silas, T-Hex, Tristana, and then Ionia and Gunslinger. I think T-Hex is going to be a huge surprise for some people because while this was dominant a while ago, they nerfed it overly too hard, way too hard, because I think they did it 50 times, and then they tried to slowly buff it back, but it's not at the spot it's supposed to be at. So hopefully after this one, we're going to be playing some T-Hex again. 6 augments are being buffed, 9 items are being buffed, and then we're nerfing Sona, Rift Herald, Yunara, and Nashor's Tooth. Nashor's Tooth was an absolutely crazy item. I'm pretty sure a lot of the AP builds we had were all using Nashor's Tooth, like the Sona reroll build. Definitely Nashor's. I think Asol was using Nashor's. Pretty much everyone's using Nashor's if you're a backline mage unit. And then they're also buffing 8 augments. After that, they're adjusting Jinx, Aatrox, Piltover, and On a Roll, and then reworking Trials of Twilight, Gilded Steel, the World Runes, and Max Build. Now, I have to address some of the comments being made about me. Some people in my previous video were saying that I sounded very bored or something like that. The reason why I sound like this is not because I'm actually bored, it's because I'm just sick right now. I really hope my voice comes back soon, but it's been lasting like more than a week now. It kind of sucks, but it is what it is. What didn't last, though, is the leveling changes they made last week. So last week, they increased the amount of XP needed to go from level 8 to level 9, so that like just really hurt level 9 builds. But to compensate for that, they're going to be adjusting the cost odds for level 7. You're going to be getting a bit more 3 costs, fewer 1 cost now by 3%. And then they're going to be reverting the XP changes from last patch. Pretty much people were hitting too many 3-star 4 costs, which kind of made it a little bit of a high rolly patch. So they're reverting the XP changes that they just made, but they are going to be nerfing a couple of econ augments so that level 9 isn't too easy to get. Now onto unlock conditions. Kennen's going to be 1 star easier to get, and then Tom Kench is going to be 50 Serpents easier to get also. Kennen, I think, is a big one. I think when you make Kennen easier to get, all the Rise builds become like infinitely better. Not infinitely, but a little bit better, because unlocking both Kennen and Kambuko is so hard. So if you combine this with the easier level 9, Rise should be a little bit better. Next up, we have our large changes. We're going to start off with Ionia Path of Blades. Additional attack is going to be buffed up a little bit at 5 and 7 Ionia. This is going to be helping a lot of the auto attackers in Ionia, mainly like Jin in the early game. If you get to 5 Ionia in stage 3, it's going to be helping Yunara a bunch, Yasuo a little bit. Gunslinger's attack damage, this one's going to be bumped up just a small tiny bit. And then Piltover is getting a lot of buffs here. So obviously, these are going to be directly affecting T-Hex. Let's see how big they are. So Blast Shield, going to go from 20 to 18. Tuned Oscillator, 25 to 28. Overclock Capacitor, 22 to 25. Acceleration Gate, Refund, 40 to 30. Gigantification Rate, 23 to 28. And then Kinetic Barrier Resist, 60 and 20 to 65 and 30. Pretty much they were just tinkering a little bit and trying to balance all of them together so that you don't always pick the same thing every single time. That's a very nice change. I can't really complain about that. Units tier 1, Jin ability damage. This one's going to be buffed up a little bit. Wow, does Jin really need buffs? Yunara's already really good, and they buffed one of the Ionias. They buffed Jin right now, which is the item holder, so they must be nerfing Yunara later, right? Sona heal is going to be nerfed by 10 across the board. They're saying it's too reliable right now for a 1-cost reroll comp, so they're going to be hitting it. I wonder why they didn't buff a different 1-cost reroll, because maybe there should be more than one viable 1-cost reroll comp. I know a lot of the hero augments people are just completely ignoring also, because some of them just don't feel very good right now. Units tier 2, Bard ability damage going to be touched up a little bit, and then Tristana also going to get a buff at 3-star. Xin Zhao's heal amount is also going to be touched up a little bit. So again, that's another Ionia buff. Like, what is going on here? Was Ionia like on the menu or something like that? Okay, Yunara, this better be like the biggest Yunara nerf ever, right? I was like crazy thinking like, I remember seeing Yunara in the preview, and I was like pretty sure she was in the nerf section, but I was like, wait, was she in the buff section because they're buffing all the Ionias? Okay, so thank Mortdog for that. They are going to be nerfing her. Not that I don't like her. I actually like her a lot. Maybe I say that about a lot of people, though. But I was just thinking, there are a lot of buffs to Ionia. I was like, no way she's also getting buffed. Like, there's a 1% chance in my head. I was like, wait, did I misremember? And she's actually also a buff? That would not have made much sense. But sanity is restored in the world. Let's look at the tier 3 units. Fix some scenarios where Darius would stop casting after executing enemies. Darius bleed duration 4 to 5 seconds. Darius ability damage per second is going to be reduced a little bit. So essentially, they were fixing a bug that's impacting his playability, but because his bleed lasts longer, then his execute should be triggered a little bit better. Draven gonna get a 5 attack damage boost. Gwen primary damage is going to be buffed up a tiny bit. Secondary, same thing. And then Jinx fixed a bug where Jinx would occasionally lose attacks during her spell. Really? That kind of sucks. Jinx ability damage is going to be nerfed a little bit to kind of compensate for that. They're saying this is going to be a neutral change for 1 and 2 stars, but a 3-star buff. Next one up we have is units tier 4, and Bessa's getting a new ability, Slam. Deal 40% bonus damage to tanks. Okay, very interesting. Reset damage is going to be changed from 100 to 80. What are they saying about that here? Because that's a pretty interesting change. Many gamers see our Ambessa buffs as yet another Noxus buff. We want Noxus to be in a place where any of its carries can carry. With the buffs, everyone, the decision should be who to itemize in doing so. So instead of who to splash into your 5-7 Noxus comp, we're going to be deciding who to itemize. Next, they want Ambessa to be a primary item holder instead of a leftover for the splash players. So they're just making her very decent overall. Lissandra ability primary target damage is going to be buffed up at 1 star, and then Rift Herald is going to be losing a bit of health because, yeah, Void was pretty OP. It's just because you get the 4 cost so easily, right? And then Yunar's attack speed is going to be changed from 75% AP to 65% AP. There was this Titan's Resolve build that people really liked that gave her AP, so that's going to be nerfed a little bit, and people were pretty much building it because Kraken Slayer got nerfed a bunch. But the fact that a bunch of Ionia units got buffed means that the net power of the comp probably is going to be around the same, if not better, because you just have more life, and then you can play Kindred and all the other legendaries. Like, you don't even need Yunara technically, right? Next build up though, we have the 5 cost. Aatrox Omnivamp to AD conversion is going to be bumped up by 50%. Ability damage is going to be nerfed at 2 star. What do they say about this here? Overall, this should be a buff though, right? We're pushing Omnivamp Fantasy for Aatrox as an unlock condition. So this should be a big buff to 1 star Aatrox, but we're slapping a small compensation nerf to 2 star Aatrox so it doesn't go too far. Okay, yeah, sure. Makes sense. Aurelion Soul's Starforger bonus Stardust is going to be changed and buffed up a little bit at 1 star, but nerfed at 2 star. The upgrade is going to be changed from 475 to 550 and 750 to 800, but then the big one is going to be nerfed a little bit. What are they going to be saying about that? While the Dragon's mid-patch adjustments in 16.3 put him in a better place, players are too quickly pivoting off of Asol's Targonian friends, and those higher breakpoints are a bit too rare. We're letting him stack a bit faster at 1 star, but compensating by pushing his 2 biggest upgrades later, and making his ultimate black hole upgrade a little bit easier. Okay, I haven't actually gotten to the final upgrade one, but I definitely do want to try that. Like, the game just ends before it happens for me, but it should be fun to kind of try out. Ornn additional HP is going to be buffed up, so this is for normal items, this is for artifact items. Wow, artifacts are going to give so much health to Ornn. Like, whenever you have one, just put it on him. You will not regret it. His chill duration is going to be bumped up by 5, and then Silas Cataclysm damage is going to be buffed up a little bit. Same with Justice. Silas is still good, he's just hard to get to, and all the other units you play with him aren't the best, but hopefully this should kind of change that. T-Hex ability, wow. A lot of T-Hex changes here. He's going to get an AD buff. He's going to get primary damage a bit nerfed. Damage fall off going to be increased. When he eats a fighter, he's going to get more AD. When he eats a marksman, he's going to get more damage amp. When he eats a tank, he's going to get more Omnivamp. And then when he eats an assassin, he's going to get more crit. So overall, these definitely are buffs. They say they are intended to open up innovative builds with Hexmech combos. And they're saying drain tanks might rise up. I don't think so. They're probably just going to be damaged, but we'll have to see. I'll be updating that on my website, bunnymuffins.lol/meta. Pretty much right after the patch comes out, and the video will be on either Thursday or Friday. Just know that the website is always updated first before the video, so it's kind of nice to get like an extra boost if you go there. Core items, Gargoyle Stoneplate base MR and armor is going to be increased a bit. Gnasher's Tooth ability power going to be dropped by 2. I don't think that's going to change anything, right? It's still going to be really good, right? Warmog's armor and health is going to be changed from 15% to 18%. That's a buff. I, for one, miss the days of solo frontline Warmogs plus Gargoyles. Yeah, no one really does that anymore. Maybe this brings it back. I mean, there's too much stuff going on in the way that you don't really want to solo tank in the late game. You kind of only want to do it in the early mid game. That's kind of why. Artifacts, Aegis of Dusk and Dawn being buffed up by 100. Yeah, I never really liked these, but I'm glad they are being buffed. Hull Crusher base armor is going to be buffed up by 10. Mogul's Mail is going to be reduced by a second. And then Sniper's Focus, you're going to gain 3 mana regen, really? And then you get less AD and AP. So this is going to be more of a caster focus item then. That's what it looks like. More so than a range item. So that's an interesting take on Sniper's Focus. Let's see how it works. It's going to be really good on anyone with long range abilities. So like maybe Seraphine might be good with it. Rise could be good with it because he targets a bunch of random people. Pretty much anyone with long range abilities or random targeting is going to make really good use of this. Asol might make good use of this, right? Radiant items, we just have the same changes that we saw before to the regular ones, and then we're on to augments. So Gilded Steel is a new one. It's going to be gold and on 4-2 only. Gain 3 non-tank 5-cost champions. If you field a 5-cost champion, your 1 to 4-cost champions gain 8% durability. This one's based on KO Coliseum. Trials of Twilight. This is going to be prismatic 2-1. Gain 2 Xin Zhaos and a Bloodthirster. Xin Zhao becomes an attack fighter. After 5 combats, unlock Zahin, and then at the start of the next 3 stages, gain a lesser champion duplicator. World Runes is going to be re-enabled and adjusted. Gain 2 emblems from random regions. Gain 2 XP every player combat. Increase to 4 if 4 or more regions are active. That's very interesting. And then Ascension, this one's going to be nerfed on the damage but buffed on the timing. Artillery Barrage spell damage is going to be bumped up a little bit. Chaos Magic temporarily disabled. Commerce Core is going to be buffed up on initial rerolls but then reduced on rerolls per turn. Maybe that's kind of to deal with all the 3-star forecasts. Efficient Shopper now additionally grants 4 gold. Epic Rolldown going to be nerfed. Flexible Team 20 health is going to be changed to 40 health. Indecision going to be nerfed a bit. Yeah, this one was pretty good. It makes sense to nerf it. Jeweled Lotus, critical strike chance going to be nerfed by 10. Wow, that's actually quite a bit. I'm surprised by that. Because normally something like this, they never change because they just keep it the same for every set. Living Forge, 10-player combat's now going to be 9. Wait, that's really good. Isn't that going to be OP now? Because they also buffed all the artifacts and also Ornn. I'm probably going to be picking this a lot. Max build adjusted, gain 10 rerolls now. On 4-5 and 6-1, gain a champion duplicator. Honor roll no longer offered on 2-1. Reinforcement, you only get 5 gold now. Wait, what, really? Jeez, that sounds really rough. I guess because Mbessa, because then you get Mel for free. Like, I don't know. Was Reinforcement really that good? I really don't think so. Spirit of Redemption heal 10% to 7.5, 3 threes. Gold is being changed from 8 to 3, and then Twin Guardian bonus armor going to be changed from 40 to 50. Next up, we have our small changes. Got some tooltip updates. Galio's ability can properly critically strike, and then Rise ability no longer fizzles if the target dies mid-flight. Onto bug fixes, we have Disruptor's damage amp would be higher than intended with units affected by Freljord's damage amp. Bard no longer counts 6 Piltover's Invention as a 3-star unit. Fix a typo in Sunfire Cape's tooltip. Fix a typo in Call to Chaos's Golden Egg reward tooltip. Gwen's Scissors and Salvager no longer resets items that stack. If a champion has multiple Death Blades equipped with Deadlier Blades augment, they now correctly gain multiple stacks of attack damage on takedown. Kaisa and Oriana's unlock conditions are corrected in Talker's Trials. Fix the bug where music is delayed when scouting some arenas for the first time, and then fix the bug where the unbound pedestal color of Le Café de Paris arena is darker. But those are going to be the changes we have for this patch. Like, honestly, pretty big changes. Void definitely going to be feeling it a little bit. Probably not going to be S tier, still going to be A tier. Like the Kaisa build definitely is still going to be super viable. Level 9 changes are going to be big. Like I think Rise is going to be back on the menu. Also, any comp that uses Ornn, like that's just a lot of health you have on your Ornn. If you ever get an artifact item, like obviously you don't want to play him without any, or like you don't want to play him in the super late game if you are trying to farm an item because it's going to be too late to farm. I think he's going to be a very interesting option that people probably shouldn't sleep on anymore. After that, I think Mbessa is going to be really cool as like a melee item holder. So maybe melee items become a bit better because you could always do some flex Mbessa build with some random stuff. It's like Mbessa, Swain, plus whatever other Noxus you need for synergies. And then you just play anything with that. Like that makes a lot of sense, right? And then I do hope Sylas is back. Sylas, I think, is just such a cool unit. Like he's playable in a bunch of like cool builds. Like obviously he has the Arcanist one, but he also has the Draven Fast 9 one from the past. So maybe that kind of comes back into the meta. I'm glad Sona is dead though. Like I thought the Sona comp was pretty cringe. No offense, but you know you gotta do what you gotta do. But the only thing I'm worried about is I really hope T-Hex isn't like super meta because I'm not the biggest fan of T-Hex. Because if you ever unlock him super early, you just win the game. But then if you can't unlock him, you just kind of lose. And I don't like my games being decided by like whether you had a good early game or not. You know, I'm a much bigger fan of like the Kaisa Yunara type of comps where it's like go for the 4 cost. If you get a good game, go for the 5 cost. If not, like you could kind of still play with the 4 cost and like pretty much guarantee hit it. Not guarantee, but like get it in most of your games. That's the kind of TFT I like to play. It's like that and maybe like 2 cost reroll. I think 2 cost reroll is pretty solid where it's strong, but it's only strong if you have like the right direction for it, if you have the right items for it, things like that. So that's kind of the TFT I like. But let me know your predictions down in the comments below. I'm not going to do too crazy of an outro this time just because I am losing my voice, but hopefully I get it back by the time the meta snapshot comes out. Because, yeah, I thought it'd be gone like a week ago, or at least a couple days ago, but it's still here and it's still not that great. But hopefully you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.